fine.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we've got a viewer again. Whoop whoop. This could be
Sean.
viewers yesterday.
Showing one person. I don't know.
I think that's wonderful. To start off with one person is awesome. Whether it is Rosa or not, I don't know.
Wonderful. I see what you did.
There you go. You see, wonderful. Yes, the wonderful one. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. It's awesome. Right. So yesterday went well, didn't it?
I thought so.
Yes.
Be critical.
Woo! Hi. But yes, yesterday I think it went really, really well. What do you think there?
I think so.
Yeah, just chill, just bimbling along, making some noise, making some voices and some noises.
making mouth sounds.
Mouth sounds. God, no. Cringe. Because the thing is, it's like we all make noises when we eat. We do. It's a way of life. And the thing is, as well, I see it. I mean, when you're with somebody or opposite somebody, that's fine because it's part of the experience and it's temporary, thankfully. Melanie! Hi.
Hello, Melanie.
Nice to see you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being here yesterday as well. We appreciate you. Yay! Melanie left a lovely comment this week, actually, so I'm very grateful for that.
Nice.
I was just talking about mouth sounds, wasn't I? Now, the thing is, when you're with somebody eating, it's temporary, it's only going to happen a short while, and you can generally put up with it. If it's amplified lots by microphones, and I tell you what I'm noticing, right? There's a lot of people who go online and do podcasts, or they have videos, and they're awesome videos. They're fantastic, but you just want to say to them, "Jeepers creepers, have a drink. Just hydrate, please," because they're all like and all this sort of thing. And I'm like, use some Vaseline on your lips. Hydrate. That is the best advice I can give to anybody that wants to do voice work.
There's a YouTuber I've been listening to off and on lately who I won't mention his name, but he has a sponsorship through some drinks that he's usually drinking throughout, which are apparently carbonated, and he doesn't edit out any sounds that happen thereof.
No. We can't be dealing with that. Yes, on top of the hydration and trying to sort these things out, we have cat. Both of us have
yes.
Desk cat, office cat, room cat. Each of us has a cat in, obviously I have many cats and dogs. Well, I have 2 cats and 2 dogs now. But I have one cat specifically that likes to be in this room and doesn't like anybody else. So she and also likes to make it known her chagrin by walking across my keyboard at various moments. So.
Mine's curled up on the bed, so he's fine.
Yeah, Gus can be more chill, could he really? He's just like,
yeah,
I'll be the grown up, and Xena's like,
yeah. And when he decides he wants it, when he decides he wants attention, he crawls over my shoulder.
See, that's nice. I mean, Xena's, as you know, she's kind of like on my front, my shoulder, and like my keyboard, my any part of the desk that she can be on. In fact, I've got a big L-shaped desk and like 2 big monitors, and just kind of like it's set up in a really good way for voice recording and whatnot. But like the whole left side of the desk she could have, the whole right side of the desk she could have. I've even given up using my mouse mat and bought a sort of like a desk mat thingy, which does half of the desk, so that she has a place to be. She even has my old A4 lined pad on a telephone table specifically, which is a perch, because, oh no, the cat tree just was not good enough, was it? No. It's only good enough if she goes into the middle room, which is the other room, which is just used for storage at the moment. I digress. So she goes on a little perch. She'll have a little lay down on there, or she'll have a lay down on the other dresser over the other side of the room, or she'll have a lay down on my ottoman, which she's scratched a buggery, which used to be really nice condition and now it's absolutely shit state. Anywhere apart from where she normally goes. And her favourite place to lay is right on my mouse or right on my freaking keyboard when I'm
Well,
doing
you know
something.
the book. If you give a mouse a cookie, well, if you give a cat a cradle, it'll take the whole room.
Pretty much. So, my lovely beans, I'm glad you enjoyed it yesterday. We had a great time and we practiced beforehand.
That's how
That says, like,
seriously we're taking this.
yeah, we're being all grown up about this and everything, you know. Normally we try and avoid being grown up at any time because it's I want a refund personally.
Yeah,
The current state of grown up is not fun. We don't like it.
I feel as though I've been bamboozled.
Good choice of words. Good choice of words. We have been bamboozled. It has caused us to be discombobulated. Yes. Oh my goodness. That's something else we need to do at some point. I have some incredible words to go through. Sorry, that sound effect is me sorting out my stand.
Speaking of words and phrases to go
giggling.
through. Speaking of words and phrases to go through, I think it would be fun to incorporate the list I've been keeping over the years of things Inc. has actually said out loud, which I occasionally take the time to write down and read through and
He
chuckle.
I really wish I had the foresight to do the same. I really do.
She's
have
had a
one in
lot of
mind,
practice
Mr. Bear?
giggling. Yes. No, I don't have any in mind. I just thought it just occurred to me that would be a fun thing to incorporate in these.
Well, with our lovely with the current present company, I think we should ask them what they think by giving them an example, to be perfectly honest.
Sure. All right. Let's see.
He has done this and kept this note on his digital appliance for quite a while, and we were going to make a book out of it. I think that'd be quite funny.
We still can, because like you said, you can actually get them. You can actually just order them and have them bound, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Or you can just kind of like get it all digitally done. Just do some digital art with the app. Maybe if you wanted to, or just to draw some daft pictures, you know.
Yeah, here's a classic one. That's the best thing about biscuits. They're the eternal mystery.
I never said that.
You said that.
Were we talking about Jaffa cakes?
I think that's what it was. I think that the conversation was biscuits versus cookies versus cake, because we were on the subject of Jaffa cakes and that whole debate that they made, where they're not cookies, they're cake, and the difference between American biscuits versus your biscuits, and what biscuits actually are, and how you have some you call cookies and some you call biscuits. And it was quite a lively debate, as I recall.
It was quite a lively debate. And Rose is here. Woo!
Hello, Rose.
Hello, Rose. Hello, lovely bean. We're just talking about cakes and biscuits and things that I've said, and mouth noises. So we've covered quite a lot so far. But it's good to have you here. We could, in the first 8 minutes, we've actually gone round quite a lot of things. I'm quite surprised.
Yes.
Shocking. But yes, what we're going to do, I've completely, that was it. You were going to go through the characters for us, weren't you, Mr. Bear?
Well, I just thought because we were going to Oreos
are not biscuits, they're evil. Them's fighting words there, Krill. Hello, Miss Rose. How are you doing?
They are evil, and evil must be destroyed and consumed.
Yes, you're doing it to save the planet, aren't you, Mr. Bear?
Exactly. That's how I get rid of the junk food in my house. I eat it.
Ouch, damn, nom, nom, nom. I love it. Right, okay.
The power of crunch compels you.
The power of crunch compels you. God. Right, anyway. If you could, Mr. Bear,
Yes.
describe the scene that
so
is ahead of us.
yeah, so we started off yesterday with the importance of being earnest, and we went back and forth with Algernon and Jack, and we thought we'd change it up because we're introducing the two more characters into this part, Lady Bracknell and Gwendolyn. So we thought we'd change it up to, of course, I'll do the male voices and she'll do the female voices. So we have Algernon, Jack. Oh, Jesus, I lost my place. Yes, Algernon, Jack, Lady Bracknell, and Gwendolyn. So, of course, Ink will be handling Lady Bracknell and Gwendolyn, and I'll just be doing Algernon and Jack.
And Lane.
So,
and Lane, who I
and
swear
Lane,
down
and Lane.
Is Jeeves. It's Jeeves from Jeeves and Worcester. Absolutely. The wonderful Mr. Stephen.
Yeah, and I'm kind of channeling Bertie Wooster and Jack, I think.
I would say so. I would say so. Right, my lovely beans. Are you sitting comfortably?
Oh, it's been a while since I've heard that one, Rose.
Steady on, Mr. Bear. If you keep dripping out that amount of sarcasm, you're going to slip in the pool of it. We love you, Rose. You're awesome. We love all of you because it's nice seeing people that are always there for us, and we appreciate you very much. And Zena's just, I don't know if you heard her then, she just went bonk onto my desk. she is putting weight on again, which is absolutely fantastic. Good news. Right, my lovely beans.
So
Lane shall introduce this one for us. So if you're sitting comfortably, get your refreshments, your peanuts, and all that sort of thing, and we'll have a little chat on with this next part of Act 1.
So at this point in Act 1, enter Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax, and Lane introducing them. Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, my dear Algernon. I hope you are behaving very well.
I am feeling very well, Aunt Augusta.
That's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Dear me, you are smart, Gwendolyn.
I am always smart, am I not, Mr. Worthing?
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope I'm not that. It would leave no room for developments, and I intend to develop in many directions.
Goodness.
Oh, my. I am sorry if we're a little bit late, Algernon, but I was obliged to call on dear Lady Harborough. I hadn't been there since her poor husband's death. I never saw a woman so altered. She looks quite 20 years younger. And now I'll have a cup of tea and one of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly, Aunt Augusta.
Won't you come and sit here, Gwendolyn? Thanks, Mamma. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens, Lane. Why are there no cucumber sandwiches? I ordered them specially. There were no cucumbers in the market this morning, sir. I went down twice. No cucumbers? No, sir. Not even for ready money. That'll do, Lane. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I am greatly distressed, Aunt Augusta, about there being no cucumbers, not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some crumpets at Lady Harborough, who seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear her hair has turned quite gold from grief.
It certainly has changed its colour. From what cause, I of course cannot say. Thank you. I have quite a treat for you tonight, Algernon. I'm going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She is such a nice woman, and so attentive to her husband. It's delightful to watch them.
I am afraid, Aunt Augusta, I shall have to give up the pleasure of dining with you tonight after all.
I hope not, Algernon. It would put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he is accustomed to that.
It is a great bore, and I need hardly say a terrible disappointment to me, but the fact is I have just had a telegram to say my poor friend Bunbury is very ill again. They seem to think I should be with him.
It is very strange. This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Yes, poor Bunbury is a dreadful invalid.
Well, I must say, Algernon, that I think it's high time that Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or to die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd. Nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy with invalids. I consider it morbid. Illness of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in others. Health is the primary duty of life. I'm always telling that to your poor uncle, but he never seems to take much notice, as far as any improvement in his ailment goes. I should be much obliged if you would ask Mr. Bunbury, from me, to be kind enough not to have a relapse on Saturday, for I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and one wants something that will encourage conversation, particularly at the end of the season, when everyone has practically said whatever they had to say, which in most cases was probably not much.
I'll speak to Bunbury, Aunt Augusta, if he's still conscious, and I think I can promise he'll be all right by Saturday. Of course, the music is a great difficulty. You see, if one plays good music, people don't listen, and if one plays bad music, people don't talk. But I'll run the program I've drawn out, if you'll kindly come into the next room for a moment.
Thank you, Algernon. It is very thoughtful of you. I'm sure the programme will be delightful after a few explications. French songs I cannot possibly allow. People always seem to think they are improper, and either look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. But German sounds a thoroughly respectable language, and indeed, I believe is so. Gwendolen, you will accompany me. Certainly, Mamma.
Charming day it has been, Miss Fairfax.
Pray don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else, and that makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I'm never wrong.
And I would like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Mamma has a way of coming back suddenly into a room that I have often had to speak to her about.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I have admired you more than any girl I have ever met since I met you.
Yes, I'm quite well aware of the fact, and I often wish that in public, at any rate, you had been more demonstrative. For me, you have always had an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent to you. We live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact is constantly mentioned in the more expensive monthly magazines, and has reached the provincial pulpits, I am told, and my ideal has always been to love someone of the name of Earnest. There is something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Earnest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolen.
Passionately.
Darling, you don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Earnest.
But you really don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Earnest.
But your name is Earnest.
Yes, I know it is. But supposing it was something else, do you mean to say you couldn't love me then?
Yeah, that is clearly a metaphysical speculation, and like most metaphysical speculations, has very little reference at all to the actual facts of real life, as we know them.
Personally, darling, to speak quite candidly, I don't care much about the name of Earnest. I don't think the name suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It is a divine name. It has a music of its own. It produces vibrations.
Well, really, Gwendolen, I must say I think there are lots of other much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, is a charming name.
Jack? No, there is very little music in the name Jack. If any at all, indeed. It does not thrill. It produces absolutely no vibrations. I have known several Jacks, and they all, without exception, were more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is notorious domesticity for John, and I pity any woman who is married to a man called John. She would probably never be allowed to know the entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. The only really safe name is Earnest.
Gwendolen, I must get christened at once. I mean, we must get married at once. There's no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Well, surely. You know that I love you, and you led me to believe, Miss Fairfax, that you are not absolutely indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet. Nothing has been said at all about marriage. The subject has not even been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I think it would be an admirable opportunity, and spare you any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing. I think it only fair to tell you, quite frankly beforehand, that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolen,
Yes, Mr. Worthing. What have you got to say to me?
you know what I have got to say to you.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolen, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long you have been about it. I'm afraid you have had very little experience in how to propose.
My own one. I have never loved anyone in the world but you.
Yes, but men often propose for practice. I know my brother Gerald does. All my girlfriends tell me so. What wonderfully blue eyes you have, Ernest. They are quite blue. I hope you will always look at me just like that, especially when there are other people present.
Mr. Worthing, rise, sir, from this semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mamma, I must beg you to retire. This is no place for you. Besides, Mr. Worthing has not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I am engaged to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Pardon me, you are not engaged to anyone. When you do become engaged to someone, I, or your father, should his health permit him, will inform you of the fact. An engagement should come on a young girl as a surprise, pleasant or unpleasant, as the case may be. It is hardly a matter that she could be allowed to arrange for herself. And now I have a few questions to put to you, Mr. Worthing. While I am making these inquiries, you, Gwendolen, will wait for me below in the carriage.
Mamma!
In the carriage, Gwendolen. Gwendolen goes to the door. Now she and Jack blow kisses to each other behind Lady Bracknell's back. Lady Bracknell looks vaguely about as if she could not understand what the noise was. Finally, she turns round. Gwendolen! The carriage!
Yes, Mamma.
You can take a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell. I prefer standing.
I feel bound to tell you that you are not down on my list of eligible young men, although I have the same list as the dear Duchess of Bolton. We work together, in fact. However, I am quite ready to enter your name, should your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, yes, I must admit I smoke.
I'm glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London as it is. How old are you?
I'm 29.
A very good age to be married at. I've always been of opinion that a man who desires to get married should know either everything or nothing. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I am pleased to hear it. I do not approve of anything that tampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate exotic fruit. Touch it and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England, at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. If it did, it would prove a serious danger to the upper classes, and probably lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or in investments?
In investments, chiefly.
That is satisfactory. What between the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted from one after one's death, land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position and prevents one from keeping it up. That's all that can be said about land.
I have a country house and with some land, of course. What are you chuckling about?
I'm sorry.
Seriously. I have a country house and some land, of course, attached to it, about 1,500 acres, I believe. But I don't depend on that for any real income. In fact, as far as I can make out, the poachers are the only ones who can make anything out of it.
A country house? How many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up afterwards. You have a tiny house, I hope? A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolen could hardly be expected to reside in the country.
Well, I own a house in Belgrave Square, but it is let by the year to Lady Bloxham. Of course, I can get it back whenever I like at 6 months' notice.
Lady Bloxham? I don't know her.
Oh, she goes about very little. She is a lady considerably advanced in years.
No, nowadays that is no guarantee of respectability, of character. What number in Belgrave Square?
149.
Oh, the unfashionable side. I thought there was something. However, that could easily be altered.
Do you mean the fashion or the side?
Both, if necessary, I presume. What are your politics?
Well, I'm afraid I really have none. I am a liberal unionist.
Oh, they count as Tories. They dine with us, or come in the evening at any rate. Now to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both my parents.
To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both, it looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born in what the radical papers call the purple of commerce, or did he rise from the ranks of the aristocracy?
I'm really afraid I don't know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I said I had lost my parents. It would be nearer to the truth to say that my parents seem to have lost me. I don't actually know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, an old gentleman of very charitable and kindly disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing because he happened to have a first-class ticket for Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort.
Where did the charitable gentleman who had a first-class ticket for the seaside resort find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
Yes, Lady Bracknell. I was in a handbag, a somewhat large black leather handbag, with handles on it. An ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what locality did this Mr. James or Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
In the cloakroom at Victoria Station. It was given to him in mistake for his own.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes, the Brighton line.
The line is immaterial, Mr. Worthing. I confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born, or at any rate bred, in a handbag, whether it had handles or not, seems to me to display a contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life that remind one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution, and I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to. As for the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a cloakroom at a railway station might serve to conceal a social indiscretion, has probably indeed been used for that purpose before now, but it could hardly be regarded as an assumed basis or an assured basis for a recognized position in good society.
May I ask, then, what you would advise me to do? I need hardly say that I would do anything in the world to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and to make a definite effort to produce at any rate one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
Well, I don't see how I could possibly manage to do that. I can produce the handbag at any moment. It is in my dressing room at home. I really think that should satisfy you, Lady Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it got to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I and Lord Bracknell would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parcel. Good morning, Mr. Worthing. Swoosh.
Swoosh.
I love that. Lady Bracknell sweeps out in majestic indignation.
Good
Well,
morning.
my goodness me. Are we going to carry on with another part of the act, or are we going to do different reads? What do you think?
I don't know. Should we put it to our audience?
Yes, I think we should. Audience, audience, audience. Bah, bah, bah. Shall we carry on with the importance of being earnest, or would you like us to go and over to do the short stories? Bingy, biddly, bing. I should go try and remember the countdown theme tune.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you.
Boo!
I only know the end. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, boom.
Rah. And you only know that from 8 out of 10 cats.
Yeah, because I've never watched proper countdown. It's always been with 8 out of 10 cats.
Well, There you go.
Rose says carry on.
Whoop whoop. Right, should we do a bit of a swap over because the ladies have gone?
Yes, so we're back to Jack and Algernon, yes.
Yes. Yay! Oh, I love this. Yay! Thank you. We love audience interaction. It's fantastic. Right. Okay then. So we've had a bit of a swoosh and a sweep of Lady Bracknell. She's swept out in majestic indignation. So, Mr. Bale, do you want to carry on with Jack and I'll do Algernon?
Yes, I think that works well. So,
Okie
so Jack
Right.
says good morning. Algernon from the other room strikes up the wedding march. Jack looks perfectly furious and goes to the door. For goodness sakes, don't play that ghastly tune, Algy. How idiotic you are.
Didn't it go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to say Gwendolyn refused you? I know in a way she has. She's always refusing people. I think it most ill-natured of her.
Oh, Gwendolyn is right as a trivet. As far as she's concerned, we are engaged. Her mother is perfectly unbearable. Never met such a gorgon. I don't really know what a gorgon is like, but I am quite sure that Lady Bracknell is one. In any case, she's a monster, without being a myth, which is really rather unfair. I beg your pardon, Algy. I suppose I shouldn't talk about your own aunt that way before you.
My dear boy, I love hearing my relations abused. It is the only thing that makes me put up with them at all. Relations are simply a tedious pack of people who haven't got the remotest knowledge of how to live, nor the smallest instinct about when to die.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't.
Well, I want to argue about the matter. You always want to argue about things.
That is exactly what things were originally made for.
Upon my word, if I thought that, I'd shoot myself. You don't think there's a chance of Gwendolyn becoming like her mother in about 150 years, do you, Algy?
All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That's his.
Is that clever?
It is perfectly phrased, and quite as true as any observation in civilized life should be.
I am sick to death of cleverness. Everybody's clever nowadays. You can't go anywhere without meeting clever people. The thing's become an absolute public nuisance. I wish to goodness we had a few fools left.
We have.
I should extremely like to meet them. What do they talk about?
The fools. Oh, about the clever people, of course.
What fools?
By the way, did you tell Gwendolyn the truth about your being Earnest in Tyne and Jack in the country?
My dear fellow, the truth isn't quite the sort of thing one tells to a nice, sweet, refined girl. What extraordinary ideas you have about the way to behave to a woman.
The only way to behave to a woman is to make love to her, if she is pretty, and to someone else if she is plain.
Oh, that is nonsense.
What about your brother? What about the profligate Earnest?
Oh, before the end of the week, I shall have got rid of him. I'll say he died in Paris of apoplexy. Lots of people die of apoplexy quite suddenly, don't they?
Yes, but it's hereditary, my dear fellow. It's the sort of thing that runs in families. You'd much better say a severe chill.
You're sure a severe chill isn't hereditary or anything of the kind?
Of course it isn't.
Very well, then. My poor brother Ernest is carried off suddenly in Paris by a severe chill. That gets rid of him.
But I thought you said that Miss Cardew was a little too much interested in your poor brother Ernest. Won't she feel his loss a good deal?
Oh, that is all right. Cecily is not a silly romantic girl, I am glad to say. She's got a capital appetite, goes long walks, and pays no attention at all to her lessons.
I would rather like to see Cecily.
I will take very good care that you never do. She is excessively pretty, and she's only just 18.
Have you told Gwendolyn yet that you have an excessively pretty ward who is only just 18?
Oh, one doesn't blurt these things out to people. Cecily and Gwendolyn are perfectly certain to be extremely great friends. I'll bet you anything you like that half an hour after they've met, they will be calling each other sister.
Women only do that when they have called on each other a lot of other things first. Now, my dear boy, if we want to get a good table at Willis's, we really must go and dress. Do you know now? Do you know it is nearly 7?
Oh, it is always nearly 7.
Well, I'm hungry.
I never knew when you weren't.
What shall we do after dinner? Go to a theatre?
Oh, no, I loathe listening.
Well, let us go to the club.
Oh, no, I hate talking.
Well, we might not trot round to the Empire at 10.
Oh, no, I can't bear looking at things. It's so silly.
Well, what shall we do?
Nothing!
It's awfully hard work doing nothing. However, I don't mind hard work where there is no definite object of any kind. Narrator's note, we're going to have to swap over again because it's Jack and Gwendolyn. So Mr. Bear's going to have to do Jack and Algernon,
right.
and I'll have to do Gwendolyn, if that's okay.
That sounds good. Right. Enter Lane. Miss Fairfax. Gwendolyn, upon my word.
Algy, kindly turn your back. I have something very particular to say to Mr. Worthing.
Really, Gwendolyn, I don't think I can allow this at all.
Algy, you always adopt a strictly immoral attitude towards life. You're not quite old enough to do that.
My own darling.
Ernest, we may never be married. From the expression on Mamma's face, I fear we never shall. Few parents nowadays pay any regard to what their children say to them. The old-fashioned respect for the young is fast dying out. Whatever influence I ever had over Mamma, I lost at the age of 3. But, although she may prevent us from becoming man and wife, and I may marry someone else, and marry often, nothing that she can possibly do can alter my eternal devotion to you.
Dear Gwendolyn.
The story of your romantic origin, as related to me by Mamma, these unpleasing comments, has naturally stirred the deeper fibres of my nature. Your Christian name has an irresistible fascination. The simplicity of your character makes you exquisitely incomprehensible to me. Your tiny address at the Albany I have. What is your address in the country?
The Manor House, Wootton, Herefordshire. Algernon, who's been carefully listening, smiles to himself and writes the address on his shirt cuff. Then picks up the railway guide.
There is a good postal service, I suppose. It may be necessary to do something desperate. That, of course, will require serious consideration. I will communicate with you daily.
My own one.
How long do you remain in time?
Till Monday.
Good. Algy, you may turn round now.
Thanks. I've turned around already.
You may also ring the bell.
You will let me see you to your carriage, my own darling.
Certainly.
I will see Miss Fairfax out, Lane. Yes,
Well done.
Right.
Right, so shall we swap over again to just
Yeah, I
really
think
quickly
so.
because it's the end of the scene. So I'll go back to Algernon for you, and you'll do Lane and Jack. Yes.
Ink does a posh lady like nobody.
It's just getting the tones right. Hello.
Well, it's like we were talking about before. Every accent, it's all in the vowels. Consonants are consonants. You can't change them. It's all in the vowels.
Exactly. Like
And
odd.
anybody that can pull off the phrase "townhouse" with malice aforethought like she does is somebody to be reckoned with.
Don't forget the spite, right? Right then, Lynn presents several letters on a salver to Algernon. It is to be surmised that they are bills, as Algernon, after looking at the envelopes, tears them up. A glass of sherry, Lane.
Yes,
Tomorrow, Lane, I am going Bunburying.
yes,
I shall probably not be back till Monday. You can put up my dress clothes, my smoking jacket, and all the Bunbury suits.
yes,
I hope tomorrow will be a fine day, Lane.
it never is, sir.
Lane, you are a perfect pessimist.
I do my best to give satisfaction, sir.
Enter Jack. Lane goes off.
As a sensible, intellectual girl, the only girl I ever cared for in my life. Algernon's laughing. What on earth are you so amused at?
I'm a little anxious about poor Bunbury, that is all.
If you don't take care, your friend Bunbury will get you into serious scrape someday.
I love scrapes. They're the only things that are never serious.
Oh, that is nonsense, Algy. You never talk anything but nonsense.
Nobody ever does. Jack looks indignantly at him and leaves the room. Algernon lights a cigarette, reads his shirt cuff, and smiles. Act drops and scene.
And scene.
And scene. I think with that one, we can carry on with the second act on that one next weekend.
I think
It's
so.
so much
Yes.
fun because there's a lot to it, and I think we can do an act a weekend. I think it's only 3. Is there 3?
I have no
the
idea.
Play? I think it's 3.
Let's see.
3 acts. Anyway, it's a good way to get it done because it's something I wanted to do, and of course, there's people doing it for their English literature. Whether
3
it's
acts.
3 acts, there you go. So it's whether it's A level or whether it's degree courses or like other reading. You know, it was a really good suggestion because classics are not only open source, like they are. Everybody knows the classics. You can do them in your own way and make it fun, and yeah, especially for people that have to do it for their studies, just makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it? A little bit more fun.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, exactly, man. And Northman, yes, Jeeves
Yes.
and Worcester.
That
Oh
would
my
be fun.
goodness.
We
When
saw
I
we
s-
found them on we found them on Open too. That was on Gutenberg, wasn't it?
Yes, and I love Jeeves and Worcester big time. We last time I was in America, was the last time or time before? We binged
Time
the
before. We did.
entire back catalogue of Jeeves and Worcester.
Because I'd
Yes.
never seen it before, and of course I grew up watching Fry and Laurie on because they had BBC stuff on PBS when I was a kid, so I'm quite familiar with both of them, and having a whole series of both of them was lovely.
Did you watch Blackadder though when you were growing up?
I remember seeing some Blackadder here and there, but I never watched it all in a row like we did because we binged that as well when you were here.
Yeah, we did. Anything from the comic strip, Blackadder, the Footlights from Cambridge. The UK, I mean, we've got some fantastic comedians around the world, and we both very much like stand-up comedy and comedy shows and that sort of thing. But the UK really, at the moment, we've got an amazing stable of comedians. But back then, in the 80s and the 90s, you had the Cambridge Footlights, you had the comic strip presents, French and Saunders, Fry and Laurie. You had Hill and Pace. Obviously, before that, we had the 2 Ronnies. You know, we got so many.
The interesting
fantastic.
The interesting thing I find about that era in comedy in like the 70s and 80s and in the 60s is that the Cambridge Footlights was like, it was to the UK what essentially like Saturday Night Live is for the US, where it's like where a lot of comics are recognized is where they start. And since it's starting in Cambridge, where they're all intellectual anyways, you have a lot of incredibly intelligent comics, and so you have some very subtle, intelligent comedy, and it's perfect. It's beautiful. I love it.
And it's great inspiration as well, because the Fast Show, for example, or Monty Python.
Correct. And
Bear will quote Monty Python ad nauseum, as well as Terry Pratchett.
John Cleese and Graham Chapman were also in Cambridge Footlights.
Yeah, indeed. I loved the first series of Blackadder because it had freaking Brian Blessed in it.
Oh my God,
Gordon's alive! One of the best voice actors ever in history, ever. Just fantastic presence. And
Brian Blessed and Voice Monster edits.
Yes, Voice Monster edits. My God, he is fantastic. He's one from TikTok, wasn't he? The big guy.
Yeah, he's on TikTok and YouTube. Yeah.
Can you do the New Year thing?
Yes, it's like new year, new do, new me, new you. Let's do push-ups.
Let's do push-ups. But yes, Monty Python is the absolute core of all of them. Rose had lost some wine. Again, great actors in there. The first series of Blackadder was fantastic, as I said. Not only that, we had a lot of other spin-offs as well, didn't we? Well, Alnwick Castle, we see that's Northumberland. That's Alnwick Castle is nearby Morpeth, isn't it? Yes, absolutely fantastic. What have they got in there now? Haven't they got the Harry Potter thing in there now? Do you know, it's been decades since I've been to Alnwick Castle. I'm telling you. See, Northman keeps doing this. He keeps bringing things up, and I'm like, and start going on about like the northeast of England and like Cumbria and Lake District, and Harry Potter, that was see. That's what I think. They've got the Harry Potter museum there now, haven't they? But like,
Okay.
fun fact, right? Yeah, fun fact. I have never watched Harry Potter or the Lord of the Rings films or Avatar. Come to that, never
Yeah.
watched them. I have not got the attention span for them.
I was gonna say when it comes down to the fact that any kind of any film longer than 20 minutes you're not gonna catch because you fall asleep. It's not surprising that you know the feature films that can go up to like like 3 hours is something that you didn't catch.
If I can listen to a film and like I can either be drawing or writing or reading or crocheting or whatever.
You have to be engaged because if you come to a stop, you sleep.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
Mary Queen of Scots, Vanessa Redgrave. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I want to just revert back to Rose's Last of the Summer Wine. Compo, Clegg, Foggy. That was the three characters in those. They were absolutely brilliant. Now you see the Potter films, like they've got some great actors in, and there's some great scenes. And of course, come on now, Severus Snape. Did you one of my
Exactly.
favorite
Yeah, exactly. You've got
incredible.
Alan Rickman and oh okay, the name's the guy that played Hagrid.
But
You know who I'm talking about.
Coltrane, Robbie Coltrane.
Ronnie Coltrane. Yeah, Ronnie Coltrane. You know, and honestly, like as the kids grew up, I like the way particularly Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint kind of diverged because Daniel Radcliffe actually he worked really hard to kind of break away from the typecast of Harry Potter, and he did pretty well with it, even though he did like some kind of like indie stuff, which is kind of cool. Whereas Rupert Grint bought a Mr. Whippy van and just drove around his neighborhood giving out free ice cream. Absolute legend.
But what I'd say is I'm going to revert back to Robbie Coltrane, another one out of Cambridge Footlights. He was in the comic strip films as well. Yes, he was. Yes,
I didn't know that.
Like you have to watch the Spinal Tap films. They were quite fantastic.
I've seen Spinal Tap. I didn't know Robbie Coltrane was in them.
No, it's a different. It's not Spinal Tap, but it's in the comic strip films. It was a parody of the Spinal Tap film. Now, interestingly, Northman, what I will say, because I'm going to represent for the Antipodean in the room, the Lord of the Rings films. Now, the reason I haven't watched them is because Peter Jackson, I saw his first films. We're talking Bad Taste, we're talking Brain Dead, and they were freaking amazing. For what he was doing at the time, his actual skills in creating the story, creating the ambience, creating the cinematography along with the soundtrack, they were horror films, but they were like proper spatter horror, you know, just proper sort of like, you know, obviously everybody loves Bruce Campbell because he is a deity in his own right. Groovy. But
back when they had all the fake corn syrup blood and just splattered it everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't go wrong with a Ninja Vicar. You know what I mean? Isn't he from Middlesbrough? Ron Atkinson. I mean, I know Bob Mortimer from Reeves and Mortimer's from Middlesbrough. Vic Reeves is from Darlington. I think Ron Atkins actually might be from. We're gonna have to Google this one.
I'm gonna say I'm already on it.
You're on it, good lad. Right.
Yeah.
I know he's definitely up here. He's up this way. He might be right, Durham City.
Let's see.
Is that because it took over so much New Zealand draws that you can't stand it? I think it's too long. I love the books. I read the books when I was at school. You know, I was about maybe 9 or 10. I know I was very young when I read The Hobbit. I was actually one of the first books.
Atkinson was born in Consett, County Durham.
Consett, County Durham. That's actually far away from me.
Newcastle upon Tyne, Northumberland.
D. Apologies if I call you D. I like calling you D now. I would say the Hobbit movies, the BBC animation, I would recommend all day long. But yeah, Consett, County Durham, actually, that's literally spitting distance from me. But yeah, you got some good people. We've got a good lot of people come from around here.
No,
yes, the books are much better, and the films are too beautiful.
I found honestly, I found the books to be a little bit dry. They read a bit like historical.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. They are a bit.
Who are you? What have you done with Bear? Get the frick out of here now.
But the movies, I would say, and because I, and this is all Peter Jackson. The reason the movies are what they are. The
Upside
act,
down.
of course, you have good actors in them. Of course, you got Viggo Mortensen, you got Elijah Wood, and of course Sir Ian McKellen, and oh, I forgot his name now. The one that played Saruman.
It doesn't matter.
but the acting is all good, but the settings of the scene and just the feeling of it and the scope of it is just Jackson nailed it.
Interesting. Let me just address this. Yeah. See, Rose agrees with you about the dry history style. Rose,
Granted, I read it when I was 19. Christopher Lee, that's the one. That's the one. D. Christopher Lee, the one that played Saruman. Yes.
But also, Northman said Peter Jackson made a great Beatles documentary, so it gets passed from me. Now, I didn't know he did, so I'm going to have a little look at that. I'm not the biggest fan of the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, believe it or not. But even though they did a massive contribution to music globally. But that sounds... I have the Silmarillion. I freaking love the Silmarillion.
I've heard you mention it before. Right?
Is it Silmarillion? Silmarillion. I can't remember, but it's been a while.
It sounds like a cooking method, but
I like his stories from Santa as well. Tolkien's stories that he wrote to his kids if he was writing as if he was from Santa. That might be what I'll do next Christmas. Hopefully I won't have any freaking injuries next Christmas that prevents us from doing our Christmas reads.
Yes.
Unfinished Tales, tough going. I'll have to have a look at that. Yeah, the mythology is fantastic.
It reminds me, like when you're talking about like letters from Santa, it makes me think of the ones that you read, Ink, early on in your channel, the one with the terrier.
Yes, that was Enid Blyton.
Enid Blyton, yes. Oh, I love those. Where it was Enid Blyton writing like letters that are supposed to be written from her dog to her fans, which were reading it, which is just adorable. I love it. What was the name of the dog?
Oh my goodness, I can't even remember. Oh my god, I have to look at that one. It's in the Blyton playlist. I'm gonna have to just have a quick nosy. Sorry guys, I'm actually enjoying the conversation. I think it's fantastic that everybody's getting involved. That makes me very, very happy. I like these things. Right, let me just have a little quick look. Oh god, I did so much Enid Blyton, I can't even tell you. Literally hundreds of the freaking things. I'll have to do like 50 in a page. Because like when I was first starting out, it just Enid Blyton all the time. There's the pet store. Bob's the dog. That's the one.
Yes.
That was so much fun. 2022. I did those. 2022. Was it 2022? 2021?
I think it was 20. I think it was 21.
Yes, because the Christmas stories and that sort of thing was 2021. I'm looking freaking how many? Bones and Biscuits. That was named November 27th, 2021, 5 freaking years ago. Well, no, it's still 4. Technically, it's 4.5 years ago. 4 years, 2 months.
Great. That's incredible.
That is insane. Apparently, I can't do some 5 years ago. Oh, wow.
Game of Thrones, the series was good until it diverged from the books. Because once it diverged from the books, all the story arcs and all the character arcs just went crazy because of course it went away from the actual original writing. But I've never read the books.
To be honest, Game of Thrones, like, because I mean, it's the films. It's not that I don't like them. I've not watched them. That's a big difference, you know. Because the reason being is like the one thing that puts me off them is how long they are, and I cannot sit down for 3 hours at a film. You know,
well,
I love
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a series. Game of Thrones is a series.
Yeah, but it's an hour of time, and it's 45 minutes.
45 minutes, yeah.
45 minutes of short time. Get your freaking crochet hook out and some fibre. Sorted. Yeah. But to be honest, Game of Thrones itself, just like The Walking Dead, for me, lost it at season 7. Season 7 is always that turning point. So
Yeah, it's hard for a series to go more than 6 seasons before it loses its way, I think.
Rose, Northman, I would say they absolutely agree with you because it was pushing boundaries. Game of Thrones.
Yes. No, and I
Visually exceptional, but again, it's just spatterfest. It's spatterbonking, to be perfectly honest.
it's not a monkey. It's blood and banging, yeah.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, blood and button
it's
banging.
it's
Yeah,
like that other series, the Spartacus one. That the first season I think was good, but that's just, yeah, it was blood
yeah.
and banging. But
It's gratuitous. If it's in context, I had this very
yes.
conversation with Bestie the other day. If it's in context, no problem. If it's
Yes.
gratuitous, it's like, oh, it's so banal. It's just
Yes.
tries
Exactly,
tries too
because it's
hard.
exactly. It's just trying to. It's just sensationalism to draw
Now,
views.
Northman, the whole
But
zombie stuff thing, I'll agree with you there. But with Walking Dead, what I liked and I was intrigued by was the apocalyptic, like, because at the time we were all in sort of like COVID, weren't we? And it was apocalyptic, and it had like a whole group of people who shouldn't have come together coming together. That fascinated me. I couldn't have given a flying frisbee about the zombies, to be perfectly honest. And I
yeah,
felt a
that's it.
bit claustrophobic when they were all in the encampments. I didn't like that very much.
Yeah, I always look at like Game of Thrones. Not Game of Thrones. Walking Dead was. I always called it Grey's Anatomy with zombies. That's what it is.
Exactly.
And like purple, Orange is the New Black was Grey's Anatomy in jail. It's the
Don't.
same drama. It's the
I
same drama, the same stuff. It's just a different backdrop.
Orange is the New Black. I actually read the book before I watched the series. And that was actually very
Ah,
good. The book.
didn't know it was a
Um,
book.
South Park's Mickey take of Game of Thrones. Yes, South Park's was absolutely brilliant, and I won't have a thing said about South Park. I mean, sometimes they can be really, really close to the edge, but fantastic.
If you were dead, you'd be boring. Yeah, that's a good point, Rose.
That's a very good point. And I'm
Vampires are
sorry,
supposed
but
to be dead, so are ghosts.
vampires don't freaking sparkle. I'll tell you that for nothing.
No,
Twilight can
vampires and
get a frick with Twilight. None of that around me.
vampires and
And Rice
zombies
or
have been
nothing.
done to death.
Hmm?
Vampires and zombies have been pretty done to death. The whole thing with
Yeah,
zombies isn't about like the zombies, it's about like the apocalypse that follows and how everyone responds to it. It's like a situational thing. It's kind of like speculative fiction. It's like if there was this kind of apocalypse because of this, what would happen? And
exactly.
yeah.
It's like a film we've seen though. I mean, like obviously, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of like classic literature, especially like H.G. Wells as well. Bit steampunky. And I was so excited. Like we were looking at this trailer for films that are coming in 2026, half of
Yeah,
which
there's
I
some good
would
ones.
give the 10-minute rule. If I give it 10 minutes,
Which
that
means she's
means
very impressed with them.
yeah. If it lasts the 10 minutes, I'm really into the film. If I give up on the film before 10 minutes is up, hate it. If I don't give it 10 minutes, I can't be bothered. Now, the thing is, we were looking at all these films for next year. So about 50% we would give the 10 minutes. One of them is really speaking to me, and it's actually based on Cthulhu. So
Yes.
neurotic boogeyman for a change. Exactly.
I'm sure they've had
Cthulhu.
something that actually, like, neurotic boogeyman, for some reason that rings a bell. There's been something where there's like supposed to be a boogeyman that's like neurotic. Aren't vampires are supposed to be super OCD anyways, aren't they? But
Don't start with the vampires. How about Candyman? 28 years later, was William Henry. Was it?
yeah.
Lindisfarne.
Oh,
I didn't know that. We've got to support the local area, haven't we? But
this one is that
the
God, yes,
Hogfather, I
Terry
love
Pratchett
watching
all
that
day
at
long.
Christmas.
That the Hogfather was particularly well done. They did pretty well with The Color of Magic and with Going Postal. Apparently, they did a series that I didn't give the time of day because it was completely diverged from the canon and was an absolute travesty. But they did some movies. Yeah, yeah.
You guys, seriously, this man can
Yes.
quote Terry
STP,
Pratchett.
STP,
Like-
GNU.
Yeah, literally, it's scary just how much he can quote Terry Pratchett. Literally, you'll be just like, give us a quote from The Witches.
I don't know. I can't. Don't put me on the spot.
Oh, you've let me down now. Fungus the Bogeyman. Now, oh my God, he also did Where the Wind Blows. He also did Father Christmas. Raymond Briggs. they're the books. I absolutely freaking love those. I introduced Bear to that and the Snowman.
As the witches.
Yeah.
Oh, how about from Nanny Og? No, I've been around and I've seen a few things, and I've seen that them as has it in it to shine will shine through 7 layers of muck, whereas them as ain't shiny won't shine however much you buff them.
See, told you. But yes, the Fungus of Boogeyman.
Vimes.
Yes. Boogeyman in wheelchair now representation all day long. We like this.
Boogeyman in a wheelchair. That rings the bell too. I know there's got to be a boogeyman in a wheelchair. So they're like disabled one. Yes.
Can I just tell you, I met Terry Pratchett, kinda.
Yeah, at a book signing.
At a book signing at Winton School in Andover. They were putting on a Colour of Magic. They were putting on a play of it, right? And he was having a really bad day, and it must have been
he hated book signings.
Days. Hold on, let's have a think. So I would have been 25, 26, because we went down and saw it. Maybe 25. So we're talking 24 years ago. So like he wasn't quite in the realms of being poorly at that point, but he was over it, and he did a lot in that area anyway, in the southeast of England, like in Hampshire and Wiltshire and Dorset. He did a lot around there, and I lived there for quite a while, which is unfortunate. but yeah, he is a genius, but he is very intolerant when he's had a bad day.
Yeah, I have heard that he hated book signings. He didn't like the bustle and because I think he was a little bit on the spectrum, and he didn't like the overstimulation. And I read a story from Neil Gaiman when they were doing signings for Good Omens, which they wrote together, and I guess they something happened where they were supposed to be there, and they ended up having to like hike up a hill really quick and to get there on time, and he was beside himself. Everything was going wrong, and he was actually like kind of shying away from me. He was a little afraid of how angry he was, and Pratchett said to him, "Don't be afraid of or discount this anger, because my anger, when channeled, is what got me through writing many books. If you channeled properly, anger can be very useful."
It can. It's not as a game designer. Yeah, I think I heard about that one. Yeah, see, the thing is, I didn't even bother with the book signing because I saw how he was like kind of, you could see he was on edge and he was just over it. So I was just like, no, I'm gonna sod this. I paid for it as well. I was quite displeased about losing my 20 quid. Anyway, the Rivers of, yeah. See, the thing is, it's like we can listen to all of our favorite writers through their books, but then when we meet them as people, they say never meet your idols, don't they?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Genius doesn't always come from a good place.
Even so, it is still one of the greatest regrets of my life. I never got to meet Terry Pratchett.
But you've read all of his books, though. Not many people can recite them verbatim. So there's not many people can do that. Not many people at all. I'm loving this conversation. Now, what happened with the Rivers of London writer? Please don't put anything in there that's going to get us banned.
Never met an author or a musician.
Agree. Absolutely.
Musicians.
Agree.
Yeah, musicians particularly, I think.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's a lot of intolerance going around these days, so we're going to try and keep that away from.
Yes.
Because we all have to deal with it in day-to-day life, so we're going to keep away from it because it's
yes,
and
that's another thing, unfortunately, for the Harry Potter series as far as intolerance goes, but we won't get into that either.
Yeah, let's just slide away from that conversation.
Yeah. But
Can we finish off this piece of prose I did yesterday? It's got 6 pages left. You want that? Would you like that, guys? Because if you were here yesterday, I was doing this one called from the Strand magazine and the Saturday Evening Post. Wasn't expecting it to be as long as it was. Where Was Witch Street by Stacey Monnier.
Hang on a second, let me find it.
Who was he dismissive of there, Northman? Unfortunately, we have got a bit of a flowing of intolerance in our country as well. But we don't like intolerance because it's horrible and mean. And because we're all GenXrs in this room, I believe, We're just like, oh God, stop it with your misbehaviour. Like, live and let live, as it were. We're gonna have to like Rivers of London author intolerant. I'm gonna have to Google this now. We don't want to give you any dead sound or anything. Of London author. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. Mob has no religion, only selfish motive. I like that though. That quote. I can't find anything about it. There's political intolerance in the country. Yes. No, we're going to stay away from that. Not dealing with that today. Nope, 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 nope. Was he? Now that's just... Well, if that's the case, he can fricking do one, and I'm not going to buy any of his books. Yes, Witch Street, I'd love to do again. Thank you, Melanie. Yeah, men giving directions is always funny. No. I'm not going to censor anybody. Like, I think it's definitely something that we all agree with is really horrible. And if that's the case, then... But we're not going to put anybody down, but we don't know what the situation actually is. But we will look into it. It's our homework to do for ourselves. Yes. Indeed. Don't you be deleting your comments. You keep your comments there. It's fine. It's okay. We are all on the same page here. We're all kind of very, very tolerant and believe that everybody is, yeah, men don't ask for directions. It's or even listen to them, or they ask them under duress. They will ask for directions. Right, let's get this one done, and then we can listen to Bear's one because I was enjoying that yesterday, and I stayed awake. I didn't fall asleep. I was quite proud of myself. Yeah. So, there was a court case. There was a murder. There was a bit of a battle, and it's all a bit spicy and a bit grr. I'm still going to read it in my accent. I should have probably read it in Cockney, but the voices in there are Cockney anyway, so that's
it's best that I think the narrating in your regular voice and having your Cockney voice for the characters is best.
Let's sup some tea there because my voice is like meh. Right. Okay. I don't normally talk this much as well. I think it's just because we're in a safe environment with just us. You good people. It's our little community, and it's our way of giving back to you guys for what you've done for us. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Right. Are you sitting comfortably? Because that's our thing. Are you sitting comfortably? Yes.
Are you resting? Then we shall begin. Yes.
And Mr. Bale's going to do the thing with the thingy, but your browser head is showing, hon. Right.
I can't get rid of it.
Hold on. We're going to do a little bit of techie. Can we do it? Can I make it bigger? Do. Make it smaller. Make it bigger. Make it smaller. Make it bigger. Yeah. Sorry, I'll leave you to mess about with that one as you wish. Ooh, look at it go. You might need to make the text a bit bigger.
I think it'll look better like that.
Scones are ready. Woo! Tea and Vicky's ready. Woo!
Yay!
An appropriate emoji to Ink not speaking a lot. Woo! Yeah, you guys share your tea and Vicky's, and I'll get reading. Right, you're sitting comfortably. We've got this, and you got your snacks and your things and your cuppas. We're sorted. Right. In a few weeks' time, the great Aztec Street siege remained only a romantic memory to the majority of Londoners. To Lawes Powlby, the little dispute with Chief Justice Pengammon rankled unreasonably. It is annoying to be publicly snubbed for making a statement which you know to be absolutely true, and which you have taken extra pains to verify, and Lawes Powlby was a young man accustomed to score. He made a point of looking everything up, of being prepared for He made a point of looking everything up, of being prepared for an adversary thoroughly. He liked to give the appearance of knowing everything. The brilliant career just ahead of him at times dazzled him. He was one of the darlings of the gods. Everything came to Lawes Powlby. His father had distinguished himself at the bar before him, and had amassed a modest fortune. He was an only son. At Oxford he had carried off every possible degree. He was already being spoken of for very high political honours.
Ooh! But the most sparkling jewel in the crown of his successes was Lady Adela Charters, the daughter of Lord Vermeer, the Minister for Foreign Affairs. She was his fiancée, and it was considered the most brilliant match of the season. She was young and almost pretty, and Lord Vermeer was immensely wealthy and one of the most influential men in Great Britain. Such a combination was irresistible. There seemed to be nothing missing in the life of Francis Lowes Palby, KC, that is, King's Counsel. One of the most regular and absorbed spectators at the Aztec Street Inquiry was old Stephen Garrett. Now, Stephen Garrett held a unique but quite inconspicuous position in the legal world at that time. He was a friend of judges, a specialist at various abstruse legal rulings, a man of remarkable memory, and yet an amateur. He had never taken sick, never eaten the requisite dinners, never passed an examination in his life, but the law of evidence was meat and drink to him. He passed his life in the temple, where he had chambers. Some of the most eminent counsel in the world would take up his opinion or come to him for advice. He was very old, very silent, and very absorbed. He attended every meeting of the Aztec Street Inquiry, but from beginning to end he never volunteered an opinion. Now, after the inquiry was over, he went and visited an old friend at the London Survey Office. He spent 2 mornings examining maps. After that, he spent 2 mornings pottering about the Strand, Kingsway and Aldwych. Then he worked out some careful calculations on a ruled chart. Oh, you know when somebody's got a clipboard or a ruled chart, it's serious. He entered the particulars in a little book which he kept for purposes of that kind, and then retired to his chambers to study other matters. But before doing so, he entered a little in another book. Hold on, let's try this again.
Goodness.
Apophthegm? Apopthegm. There's too many H's in that word.
Where are we? I've lost.
Apophthegm. It's at the bottom of location 360. Lowes Palby. Opinion. The sentence round. The rule chart. There you go. It's right there. You're nearly there. Next line down. That if you see it's a long line to the right of the page. To the right of the page. How the frick do you say that? Apophthegm? Is it like
Apophthegm? I would say apophthegm.
Apophthegm?
Yeah, sure.
That's a word I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea. I've never heard the word
goodness.
either, but it sounds like it would be. It seems as though it would be pronounced apophthegm.
Please, somebody get the dictionary out. Apophthegm. Apophthegm. Yeah, if you could do that for me, that'd be amazing. My crikey, that made me almost fall over. Apophthegm. Apophthegm. It could be right, yeah? In another book. It was apparently a book in which he intended to compile a summary of his legal experiences. The sentence ran, "The basic trouble is that people make statements without sufficient data." Old Stephen need not have appeared in this story at all, except for the fact that he was present at the dinner at Lord Vermeer's, where a rather deplorable incident occurred. And you must acknowledge that in the circumstances it is useful to have such a valuable and efficient witness. Lord Vermeer was a competent, forceful man, a little quick-tempered and autocratic. He came from Lancashire, and before entering politics had made an enormous fortune out of borax, artificial manure, and starch. It was a small dinner party, with a motive behind it. His principal guest was Mr. Sandeman, the London agent of the Emir of Bacan. Lord Vermeer was very anxious to impress Mr. Sandeman, and to be very friendly with him. The reasons will appear later. Mr. Sandeman was a self-confessed cosmopolitan. He spoke 7 languages and professed to be equally at home in any capital in Europe. London had been his headquarters for 20 years, and then some. Lord Vermeer had also invited Mr. Arthur Toombs, a colleague in the cabinet, his prospective son-in-law, Lowes Palby, KC, James Trolley, a very tame socialist MP, and Sir Henry and Lady Braid, the 2 latter being invited not because Sir Henry was of any use, but because Lady Braid was a pretty and brilliant woman who might amuse his principal guest. The 6th guest was Stephen Garrett.
The dinner itself was a great success. Ooh. When the succession of courses eventually came to a stop and the ladies had retired, Lord Vermeer introduced his male guests into another room. He conducted his male guests into another room for a 10-minute smoke before rejoining them. It was then that the unfortunate incident occurred. There was no love lost between Lord Palby and Mr. Sandeman. It is difficult to ascribe the real reason of their mutual animosity, but on the several occasions when they had met, there had invariably passed a certain sardonic byplay. They were both clever, both comparatively young, each a little suspect and jealous of the other. Moreover, it was said in some quarters that Mr. Sandeman had intentions himself with regard to Lord Vermeer's daughter, and he had been on the point of a proposal when Lord Palby had butted in and forestalled him. Mr. Sandeman had dined well, and he was in the mood to dazzle with a display of his varied knowledge and experiences. The conversation drifted from a discussion of the rival claims of great cities to the slow, inevitable removal of old landmarks. There had been a slightly acrimonious disagreement between Lords Palby and Mr. Sandeman as to the claims of Budapest and Lisbon, and Mr. Sandeman had scored because he extracted from his rival a confession that, though he had spent 2 months in Budapest, he had only spent 2 days in Lisbon. Well, Mr. Sandeman had lived for 4 years in either city. Woo! Lord Palby changed the subject abruptly. "Talking of landmarks," he said, We had a queer point arise in that Aztec Street inquiry. The original dispute arose owing to a discussion between a crowd of people in a pub as to where Wych Street was." "I remember," said Lord Vermeer, "a perfectly absurd discussion. Why, I should have thought that any man over 40 would remember exactly where it were." "Where would you say it was, sir?" asked Lord Palby. Why, to be sure, it ran from the corner of Chancery Lane and ended at the second turning of the Law Courts going west." Now, Lord Palby was about to reply when Mr. Sandeman cleared his throat and said in his supercilious, oily voice, narrator's note, I freaking love the word supercilious, "Excuse me, my lord, I know my Paris and Vienna and Lisbon, every brick and stone, but I look upon London as my home. I know my London even better. I have a perfectly clear recollection of Wych Street. When I was a student, I used to visit there to buy books. It ran parallel to New Oxford Street on the south side, just between it and Lincoln's Inn Fields." There was something about this assertion, that infuriated Lord Palby. Now, in the first place, it was so hopelessly wrong and so insufferably asserted. In the second place, he was already smarting under the indignity of being shown up about Lisbon. And then there suddenly flashed through his mind the wretched incident where he had been publicly snubbed by the Justice Pengammon about the very same point, and he knew he was right each time. Down Wych Street, he turned on Mr. Sandeman. "Oh, nonsense! You may know something about these eastern cities. You certainly know nothing about London if you make a statement like that. Wych Street was a little further east of what is now the Gaiety Theatre. It used to run by the side of the old Globe Theatre, parallel to the Strand." The dark moustache of Mr. Sandeman shot upwards, revealing
It's
a
an
narrow
interesting image.
Huh?
I just got a cartoonish image that said shot upwards, just like them having like a waxed mustache and having it just point straight upwards in sheer indignation.
Kaboing! So, the dark moustache of Mr. Sandeman shot upwards, revealing a narrow line of yellow teeth. He uttered a sound that was a mingling of contempt and derision, and then he drawled out, "Really? How wonderful to have such a comprehensive knowledge." He laughed, and his small eyes fixed his rival. "Cheese scones for the frickin' win!" I digress. He laughed and his small eyes fixed his rival. Lord Palby flushed a deep red. He gulped down half a glass of port and muttered just above a whisper, "Damned impudence." Then, in the rudest manner he could display, he turned his back deliberately on Sandeman and walked out of the room. Well,
In the company of Adela, he tried to forget the little contretemps. The whole thing was
Well
so
done.
absurd. Well,
That would have stumped me right there.
contretemps, yeah. The whole... I've got to say that when I say the word absurd, I say ob instead of ab. Absurd. I say absurd. Don't know
Absurd,
why.
yeah.
So
I think
utterly
most people do.
undignified. Yeah, well, there you go. That's my... well, at least I don't say Pacific. Come on. No reason.
No, you may not ask me a question.
Oh, God, stop it. Right. The result had suddenly gored him too. Well, being rude, to say the least of it. It wasn't that Sandyman mattered. To the devil with Sandyman. But what would his future father-in-law think? He'd never before given way to any show of ill temper before him. He forced himself into a mood of rather fatuous jocularity.
Nice.
Adela was at her best in those moods. They would have lots of fun together in the years to come. Her almost pretty, not too clever face was dimpled with a kittenish glee. Life was a tremendous rag to her. They were expecting Toccata, the famous opera singer. She had been engaged at a very high fee to come on from Covent Garden. Mr. Sandyman was very fond of music. Adela was laughing and discussing which was the most honourable position for the great Sandyman to occupy. There came to Lord Palby a sudden abrupt misgiving. What sort of wife would this be to him when they were not just fooling? He immediately dismissed the curious, furtive little stab of doubt. The splendid proportions of the room calmed his senses. A huge bowl of dark red roses quickened his perceptions. His career... The door opened, but it was not La Toccata. It was one of the household flunkies. Lord Palby turned again to his inamorata. Excuse me, his lordship says will you kindly go and see him in the library. Sorry, I'll try that again. Excuse me, his lordship says will you kindly go and see him in the library.
No.
Lord Palby regarded the messenger, and his heart beat quickly. An uncontrollable presage... Now to know, by the way, we are blind reading these things. This one's like... Excuse me why my mouth just like tumbles and trembles over this words. My God. Lord Palby regarded the messenger, and his heart beat quickly. An uncontrollable presage of evil racked his nerve centres. Something had gone wrong, and yet the whole thing was so absurd, trivial. In a crisis, well, he could always apologise. He smiled confidently at Adela and said, "Why, of course, with pleasure. Please excuse me, dear." He followed the impressive servant out of the room. His foot had barely touched the carpet of the library when he realised that his worst apprehensions were to be plumbed to the depths. For a moment he thought Lord Vermeer was alone. Then he observed old Stephen Garrett lying in an easy-chair in the corner like a piece of crumpled parchment. Lord Vermeer did not beat about the bush. When the door was closed, he bawled out savagely, "What in the devil have you done?" "Excuse me, sir, I'm afraid I don't understand. Is it Sandyman has gone?" "Oh, I'm sorry." "Sorry? By God, I should think you might be sorry. You insulted him. My prospective son-in-law insulted him in my own house." I'm awfully sorry. I didn't realise. Sit down, and don't assume for one moment that you can continue to be my prospective son-in-law. You insult, and your insult was a most intolerable piece of effrontery, not only to him, but to me. But listen to me. Do you know that the government were on the verge of concluding a most far-reaching treaty with that man? Do you know that the position was just touch and go? The concessions we had prepared to make would have cost the state £30 million, and it would have been cheap. Do you hear that? It would have been cheap. Bakken is one of the most vulnerable outposts of the empire. It is a terrible danger zone. If certain powers can usurp our authority, and mark you, the old playing place is already riddled with this new pernicious doctrine, you know what I mean. Before we know where we are, the whole East will be in a blaze. India, my God, this contract we were negotiating would have countered the outward thrust. And you blockhead, you come here and insult the man upon whose word the whole thing depends. I really can't see, sir, how I should know all this. You can't see it, you fool. You seem to go out of your way. You insulted him about the merest quibble.
in my house. He said he knew where Wych Street was. He was quite wrong. I corrected him. Wych Street be damned. If he said Wych Street was in the moon, you should have agreed with him. It was no call to act in the way you did, and you think of going into politics. The somewhat cynical inference of this remark went unnoticed. Lawes Parlby was too unnerved, and he mumbled, "I'm very sorry." "I don't want your sorrow. I want something more practical." What's that, sir?" "You will drive straight to Mr. Sandyman's, find him and apologise. Tell him that you find that he was right about Wych Street after all. If you can't find him tonight, you will tomorrow in the morning. I'll give you till midday tomorrow. If by that time you have not offered a handsome apology to Mr. Sandyman, you do not enter this house again. You will not see my daughter again. Moreover, all the power I possess will be devoted to handing you out and hounding you out of that profession you have dishonoured. Now you can go." Ooh. Dazed and shaken, Lawes Parlby drove back to his flat at Knightsbridge. Before acting, he must have time to think. Lord Vermeer had given him till tomorrow midday. Any apologising that was done should be done after a night's reflection. The fundamental purposes of his being were to be tested. He knew that. He was at a great crossing. Some deep instinct within him was grossly outraged. Is that a point? Comes when success demands that a man shall sell his soul. It was also absurdly trivial, a mere argument about the position of a street that had ceased to exist. As Lord Vermeer said, what did it matter about Wych Street? Of course he should apologise. It would hurt horribly to do so, but would a man sacrifice everything on account of some footling argument about a street? In his own rooms, Lawes Parlby put on a dressing gown and, lighting a pipe, he sat before the fire. He would have given anything for companionship at such a moment, the right companionship. How lovely it would be to have a woman, just the right woman, to talk this all over with, someone who understood and sympathised. A sudden vision came to him of Adela's face grinning about the prospective visit of Lard Toccata, and again the low voice of misgiving whispered in his ears, would Adela be just the right woman? In very truth, did he really love Adela, or was it all a rag? Was life a rag? A game played by lawyers, politicians, and people? The fire burned low, but still he continued to sit thinking, his mind principally occupied with the dazzling visions of the future. It was past midnight when he suddenly muttered in a low, "Damn," and walked to the bureau. He took up a pen and wrote, "Dear Mr. Sandyman, I must apologise for acting so rudely to you last night. It was quite unpardonable of me, especially as I since find, on going into the matter, that you were quite right about the position of Wych Street. I can't think how I made the mistake. Please forgive me. Yours cordially, Francis Lawes Parlby." Having written this, he sighed and went to bed. One might have imagined at that point that the matter was finished. Oh no, but there are certain little greedy demons of conscience that require a lot of stilling, and they kept Lawes Parlby awake more than half the night. He kept on repeating to himself, "It's so positively absurd." But the little greedy demons pranced around on the bed, and they began to group things into two definite issues. On the one side, the great appearance. On the other, something at the back of it all, something deep, fundamental, something that could only be expressed by one word: truth. If he had really loved Adela, if he weren't so absolutely certain that Sandyman was wrong and he was right, why should he have to say that Wych Street was where it wasn't? "Isn't there, after all," said one of the little demons, "something which makes for greater happiness and success? Confess this, and we will let you sleep."
I love the demon's lisp.
Yes.
It's because of the
demons
forked
like
tongue, isn't it?
Yes, they
Yeah.
like this. Demons have a union, and we can only let them feature shortly, so they only have a short amount to speak. Yes. Perhaps that is one of the most potent weapons the little demons possess.
However full our lives may be, we ever long for the moments of tranquillity, and conscience holds before our eyes some mirror of an ultimate tranquillity. Lowell's Palby was certainly not himself. The gay, debonair, and brilliant egoist was tortured, and tortured almost beyond control. And it had all apparently risen through the ridiculous discussion about a street. At 3:15 in the morning, he arose from his bed with a groan and, going into the other room, he tore the letter to Mr. Sandeman to pieces. Ooh. 3 weeks later, old Stephen Garrett was lunching with the Lord Chief Justice. They were old friends, and they never found it incumbent to be very conversational. The lunch was an excellent but frugal meal. They both ate slowly and thoughtfully, and their drink was water. It was not till they reached the dessert stage that his lordship indulged in any very informative comment, and then he recounted to Stephen the details of a recent case in which he considered that the presiding judge had, by an unprecedented paralogy, misinterpreted the law of evidence. Stephen listened with absorbed attention. He took 2 cob nuts from the silver dish, cob nuts, and turned them over meditatively without cracking them. When his lordship had completely stated his opinion and peeled a pear, Stephen mumbled, "I've been impressed, very impressed indeed, even in my own field of limited observation. The opinion of an outsider, you may say. So often it happens. The trouble caused by an affirmation without sufficiently established data. I have seen lives lost, ruin brought about, endless suffering. Only last week, a young man, a brilliant career, almost shattered. People make statements without." He put the nuts back on the dish, and then in an apparently irreverent manner he said abruptly, "Do you remember which street, my lord?" The Lord Chief Justice grunted. "Which street? Oh, of course I do." "Where would you say it was, my lord?" "Why, here, of course." His lordship took a pencil from his pocket and sketched a plan on the tablecloth. "It used to run from here to here." Stephen adjusted his glasses and carefully examined the plan. He took a long time to do this, and when he had finished, his hand instinctively went towards a breast pocket, where he kept a notebook with little squared pages. Then he stopped and sighed. After all, why argue with the law? The law was like that, an excellent thing, not infallible, of course. Even the plan of the Lord Chief Justice was a quarter of a mile out, but still an excellent, a wonderful thing. He examined the bony knuckles of his hands and yawned slightly. "Do you remember it?" said the Lord Chief Justice. Stephen nodded sagely, and his voice seemed to come from a long way off. "Yes, I remember it, my lord. It was a melancholy little street." Thank you, unseen. Unseen. Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Have you ever done an American voice in front of Bear Inc., or would you be... Now, I think we've had this conversation many of a time. Now, I do declare that I can do a southern accent, and that one is more of the easier one to do. And I might even do one that's more of the West Coast and be a bit more of an American. But can I add this to
more like
his?
Texas.
Bit more Texas? That's a bit more Midwest, isn't it? More Midwest.
There's some Texas. Texas, you get Texas. You don't. The biggest thing is the X sounds. You don't do in the back like X with your teeth. Texas.
Texas. Thank you, Mary. I enjoyed that. That was actually really hard work. And by all means, if you've got suggestions, please make them. I'll be happy to read any short stories. And I think all I would say is we just got to be careful about copyright. A good source if you want to find books or short stories for us to read on here is Project Gutenberg.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. It's Gutenberg.org, and that's Gutenberg.org. And you can just filter out from short stories and stuff, or even if you know of any other sort of like copyright free books that we can read, then Always happy to share
Yes.
those. Classics are a good choice all day long. As I said, we should, over the next couple of weeks, do The Importance of Being Earnest.
Mm.
Yeah. Are you going to be wanting to do your one, Mr. Bear, by the way? Because let's have a look. What time are we on?
We're at
Right.
about an hour and a half.
Saki is brilliant. Yes, Saki's fantastic. I've got their book of short stories right here, so that's actually a good one to do, I think.
But yeah,
So,
with Ink's accents, as much as I've tried to tutor her on the New England accent, I think honestly it's because the New England accent is so similar to the Northeastern accent.
mhm.
In many ways, it is difficult.
Yeah,
So
because it's like the word hammer, like
Emma,
in Northeast England, like Northern will know this one. If we're gonna hammer some nails, right?
yeah, that's not
Sorry.
much different than Emma.
So hammer.
And pick up the hammer and throw it over there.
You pick up the hammer and throw it over there. It's
No,
there's not
throw
much
it over.
difference.
Throw it
Yeah.
over. Yeah. My brother was out hunting fox, and he espied him a fox as he was crossing the brook, and he raised his rifle to shoot at it, and he saw another fox standing beside it, and he shot the rock between the two foxes, and the bullet split in half and killed the two of them. But the recoil knocked him back into the brook, where he hit his head on a rock, and when he came to, he had the head of an otter in one hand, the tail of a beaver in the other, and his pockets were so full of trout it popped the button off his fly and killed a partridge.
I freaking love that. That's absolutely awesome. So, Mr. Bale, do you want to read yours this week or next week?
It depends on if you want to stay on. If I mean, honestly, my throat's feeling a little bit crunchy just tonight, so it probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be a bad thing to leave it to next week.
You sure?
Yeah, I think so.
That's okay, because we've always got to think about the voices. Anytime you do that, like audio thing, voice acting thing, you guys know this. And also, New England was like West Country. I would disagree actually on that one.
No,
West
if
Country
there was,
is right proper like that, like really proper like West Country and Brazil,
yeah.
and we got to go down to Dorset.
I don't think there's anywhere over here that like accent wise is anywhere comparable to the West Country. As far as like attitude goes, it'd be more Midwest here. It'd be like the Midwest here is like the West Country as far as your farmer type. But I don't think there's really any accent in the US that's comparable to the West Country. It's always been likened to pirates that are ooh are.
Witness for the
It's only,
prosecution.
it's the only difference. What's that?
Witness for the prosecution. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Are these the Agatha Christie ones?
The Mousetrap.
Yeah, I really would like to do other. I was saying that to Bear the other day because I had the 7 Dials and I was like, oh, this one's come free of charge. Oh, I was really excited about that one because obviously 7 Dials is if you're into Victorian history especially, 7 Dials and Rookeries were the two sort of like competing areas of London, which had the tenements and the poverty in a big way down there.
Yes.
So and the workhouses and everything.
The East End.
So, yeah, the East End. So very fascinating history, and I love any cozy mysteries that are based in that area at that time.
In the Victoria area, the whole East End was called the Cauldron, wasn't it?
Was it the Cauldron? I think it's something like that. But yeah, the Rookeries or the Cauldron, because it was like a steaming pot of mire and ire.
Muck.
Yeah. And mire and ire. Yes, and I think Andrea writes it well as well. She was there was another word, not miasma, but it's a word of like glut around the feet. That's the people used to walk through.
Stews.
Yes, indeed. But my lovely beans, we appreciate you very, very much. But as he said, voices are beginning to get a bit tired. And I'm very grateful for all the interaction. Please, when you come and join us anytime, never censor yourselves. By all means, just come and have a chat. It's been freaking fantastic. So I think on that note, we're going to end the stream. And we're going to say it's good night from me.
Have a wonderful evening.
Take it easy, Petal.